Da, 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 da. I want to also, in a second, we're going to get into the huge weekend that we had in local sports. Big weekend in high school basketball and wrestling. An unprecedented weekend in high school wrestling. And also, you can talk about UC hockey with an enormous win. They're going into the finals of the ECAC West. Unfortunately, we won't get that home game. All of it coming up. Last night, the Oscars were on last night, and we have a little special appearance by our man, Willie Waffle. Good morning, Willie.
Well, good morning.
So, I didn't, the movies, I don't think I saw any of the movies that, but I do want to see some. Maybe I want to see four of the biggies. And I think I will see those movies coming up, but they were not movies that I went out and watched this year.
Well, that seems to be the trend with the Oscars. Everything kind of fits into its track. So if you think you have an Oscar, level movie, you kind of put it in this track where it comes out in small release or it comes out in November and December, and it gets overpowered by all these bigger things like Star Wars. And then people sit around going, what was that movie? I never even saw it. How did it get nominated?
Right.
And I think it's a big mistake. I think that, I think also, too, is, we don't try to make Oscar-nominated movies when we're budgeting for $100 million. When we budget $100 million, we're thinking this better be a huge blockbuster. Get some stars in here, make some stuff go boom.
Chris Rock did a little bit where he went out to Compton and was asking people about the movies, and they had no idea what these movies were, which I guess is no surprise.
Hilarious.
It was very funny. And you know what? Listen, we talked about this last week, that Chris Rock was in a very terrible position, and he was going to have to try to hit a home run, but I don't know how he was ever going to be able to do it. But guess what? I think he did it last night.
I think Chris Rock did a great job hosting the Oscars for the last time. He's never coming back. But, I think he did a great job with it. It was a no-win situation. The thing that surprised me is that he was the only one talking about the diversity issue.
Yeah.
We totally miscalculated the need of these Hollywood types to talk about themselves when they won their award.
Yeah, even with the thank yous already up on the screen, that didn't slow anybody down.
Yeah, and everybody went straight into thank yous. I'm thinking, dude, that's why they put it up on the screen. But if this is the way you want to go ahead.
I would have said, I was waiting for somebody at least to come up and say, wow, am I white? Holy cow, I can just see up there on the monitor. Look how white I am. Yet at the same time, I thought that Chris Rock made people probably feel a little uncomfortable at times, which was good too.
Well, that's his deal. He wants to make you uncomfortable, then he wants to make you laugh. And Rock was great. I love the bit where he brought out the Girl Scouts to buy some Girl Scout cookies. I thought that was very funny. I love the bit about how hard it is as an African American actor to get a job, and some of the different roles that African Americans are playing. I thought that part was hilarious. I thought Kevin Hart was perfect. And that was really, I thought, the most welcome thing. This year, instead of being stuck with some salute to sound editing through the ages, instead we got some stand-up comedians who did little bits that were very funny. Kevin Hart was very funny.
Yeah, he was.
Louis C.K. came out
he was
talking
funny
about
too.
winning best short film documentary, how your Oscar's going home in a Honda Civic. It was hilarious.
Yeah, that was really funny. And then you get Leonardo DiCaprio up there, and his opportunity to speak about diversity, and instead it was the diversity of climate change.
Well, and by my count, more people talked about climate change than talked about diversity when they won.
And I like the music of the guy there, Sam Smith. I like his music. Am I the only one that discovered last night that he's openly gay? I had no idea.
Oh no, he's been very open about it from the beginning. It's only a surprise if you don't read People magazine and things like that.
Well, I don't.
Yeah.
There's perfect. I don't. But he said he was the first openly gay person to win an Oscar.
And I think he might be right. It's one of those things that nobody's ever really kept track of.
Didn't Jodie Foster win but she wasn't openly gay.
But she's never been open about it. She's alluded to it a couple of years ago. She almost pretty much admitted it.
Yeah.
But she's never been open about it. And obviously there have been other people throughout history that have won that were not, or that were open. You know what I mean?
They just weren't open.
But were.
We later found out. Yeah.
And there might be some. There might be some cinematographer from back in the '60s who was open, but nobody really knows because when we think about who's open and who's the first to win something, oftentimes we're looking at actors and actresses and directors. We're not looking at those kind of lower level categories.
Yeah. In terms of it is interesting that like Kristine was mentioning some of the movies that were winners last night, and by title. And I didn't know. I didn't know. Oh, is that one of the movies from last night? And I guess because I was paying all attention on the Chris Rock, and I was paying all of this whole controversy is where I was. So, and when you read all the stories today, that's what really people are talking about.
Yeah, ultimately people wanted to talk about the movies. They wanted to talk about who won, and that's good. I mean, I think that's what the Oscars are about.
Yeah.
But yeah, I am surprised like you. I thought it was going to be a much bigger theme of the night. I thought somebody other than Chris Rock was going to bring it up, and it just didn't happen. And
didn't you think that would have been a mistake?
Oh boy, I don't know. I don't know. You got to speak from the heart. If you honestly believe it, I say you say it. If you don't honestly believe it, if you're just saying it to fit in or to look cool or to appear to be sensitive, then don't.
Yeah. Any surprises in terms of the actual awards?
Yeah, I mean, Best Supporting Actor Mark Rylance for Bridge of Spies beating Sylvester Stallone. That was a big upset. Nobody really saw that coming. Rylance got a lot of credit for how good he was in Bridge of Spies, but this looked like Sylvester Stallone, kind of getting that one last Oscar and getting that big honor from Hollywood before he's gone. So that was a huge shock. And Spotlight winning Best Picture. It was one of the three that could win. This year it could have gone to any of the three. I really thought it was going to be The Revenant. So when Spotlight won, that was a little bit of a shock as well.
Here was a moment that I kind of enjoyed. Here, listen to this.
I know what you was thinking when I walked on. Here comes yet another token black presenter. But it ain't just me brethren that has been overlooked. It is all people of all colors. How come there is no Oscar for them very hard-working little yellow people with tiny dongs? The minions.
I was.
That was Sacha Baron Cohen as Ali G for people who don't recognize it.
And it's funny that it was Whoopi Goldberg who came out and said, "Listen, the Asians are the ones we should be talking about, not the blacks. The Asians are the ones that are really not represented in movies in Hollywood and in the Oscars."
She's got a point. I mean, when you really think about it, I mean, Asians in movies are mostly portrayed in very stereotypical ways.
I guess that's the case. So overall, Chris Rock, I thought was really good.
Yeah, I thought Chris Rock was very good. I think that he's never coming back.
Why do you say that?
All of his material out there.
Why is he never coming back?
He's never coming back because they don't want to revisit the year we had to talk about diversity all throughout the show.
Yeah. And for him, I'm not sure it would be good to come back. You can only do a couple of these, and then you got to be like, okay, I'm done. Because how do you top yourself?
Like Bob, the days when Bob Hope would host like 19 Oscars just isn't going to happen anymore.
Yeah.
So hey, I hope it's Kevin Hart next year. I thought he really. I was very, very impressed with how good he was last night when he got his few moments to stand up and to speak and to do a little bit of comedy. I thought he was just fantastic.
And Sylvester Stallone goes. I mean, his chances of ever winning an Oscar. This was his moment. It was the moment right here.
He'll get a Lifetime Achievement Award, I think, right?
And that was the theory, that this was going to be his Lifetime Achievement Award. This was going to be his swan song, and it's not going to happen anymore. And they're not going to. Well, I mean, they're probably going to make a Creed 2, but I don't know if he'll get nominated again.
WaffleMovies.com. That's Willie's website. Before you go to the movies, check it out. WaffleMovies.com. Willie, thanks. Enjoy your week. We'll talk to you on Friday.
All right, talk to you then.
Okay. Here's Kristine with an update. Good morning.
Good morning. Shootings under investigation in Utica and Syracuse this morning. Consumer spending growing, but it's also leading to speculation about another Fed interest rate hike and a hacking at the IRS causing security concerns.
Huge weekend for Section 3 athletics and wrestling, girls basketball, boys basketball. We'll run it down, all the details coming up.
Lots going on over the weekend. Now, your forecast today, we're going to be moving downward in terms of temperature. We'll be in the 40s by late afternoon, 30s by tonight, in the teens overnight. So it's going to cool off, get really cold midweek, and then warm back up for the weekend. Full forecast we'll give you coming up. Currently 51 degrees.